Drea, I see we have a spicy little clip from DC Media. Typically, he was asking Mark Carney about a certain island, and I'm not talking about Gilligan's Island. Ooh, wasn't received all that well. Let's check it out.
Hey, Mark Carney, what about those kids on Epstein Island? Mark Carney, what about the kids on Epstein Island? Canada wants to know, what about those children on Epstein Island? Do you have any idea about them, what you did with them? Canada wants to know.
Well, on the bright side, he didn't get falsely arrested and assaulted by Uncle Fester of the Royal Canadian Mounted Thugs. So good on that. But, Dre, it's very interesting. We were, that's to say, Leaping Lincoln Jay and I were kicked out of the Carney event, even though we were welcomed in as media. And they very, very quickly had buyer's remorse. No reason given. So we had to do streeters from a public sidewalk. And it's very interesting. I was asking some of the liberal diehards coming to the rally, what do you make of this photo of Mr. Carney and Miss Maxwell, the recruiter of female talent, so to speak, for Epstein Island? And, boy, did the lies run deep in the Liberal Party. One guy denounced me as fake news, saying that that is an AI-generated photograph. But, Drea, Carney's never said that. He said, I think his words were along the lines of, I meet all kinds of people when I'm out and about. So if Carney isn't saying it's AI generated, why is this minion saying that? But the bigger question is this. Drea, I would bet my life that if that photo that we're all looking at right now, take Carney out and put Polyev in, and it is front page every single day. What say you?
Well, it's a fine example of cognitive dissonance. Like people these days, it's so hard to change anything. When you bring them with the truth, especially I would say on the left, because they don't like debate, they don't like dissenting views. They just reject it and they can't see it. And you're absolutely right. If that was Polyev, it would be front page news. And I think it's a fair question, not an assertion that, hey, is this photo AI with all of the AI photos we see? But you do know that the mainstream media knows it's not AI. And they're the ones avoiding the story. They know that these are real pictures and they're not running the story and informing the public that they are. And that's the real issue.
Andrea, what I said to that supporter is that if you can provide evidence that that is AI, I will issue a public retraction and an apology. But I know that evidence is never going to come. Why? Because even Mr. Carney, who has the most to gain by saying this is trick photography, hasn't said that. He said the precise opposite. He's meeting all kinds of people. So, like I said, the lies run deep. Speaking of Carney and lying, this doesn't look good. He faces plagiarism accusations for his 1995 Oxford doctoral thesis. Again, should be on the front page. It's, hey, never mind, move on, according to most of the mainstream media. I think this is serious, Drea.
It is serious, and it's very reminiscent of what we saw with Biden. Remember, he had the same thing. He plagiarized a whole speech and then lied about how he graduated. And so, perhaps we're seeing the same thing here again. And it says that the National Post has provided 10 examples to Carney's campaign team. So I think there's 10 different sort of examples in this essay where it's like, it looks as though it is clearly plagiarized in his 1995 thesis for his doctorate in economics from Oxford University. The dynamic advantage of competition. Oh, how fitting for what's happening right now. Wow. 10 instances of plagiarism. And of course, just like he's not responding about those photos, he's not responding about this as well.
Well, you know what, Drea? Just call me Nostradamus, but because before this story broke, I was calling Mark Carney a plagiarist. The reason? He has plagiarized the Pierre Poilievre platform, almost everything. The carbon tax cut, well, sort of. The GST holiday for new home buyers. cutting the debt and the deficit, gutting the bureaucracy. These are all Poilievre planks. He's copied everyone except, and our friends at the NFA will point this out, absent in the plagiarism of the platform is revoking Justin Trudeau's odious gun grab. That he's still okay with. So there's one difference, and a profound difference at that, because what is there, like 2.5 million gun owners in Canada? Drea, if they vote as a bloc, that is super significant. So I guess what I'm saying is that plagiarism for Carney, it's a natural occurrence. I guess that's his new nickname, Copycat Carney.
I like Copycat Carney. That's good. I've been calling him Chameleon Carney because, like, as soon as all of a sudden he's like, like you said, copying Poilievre's platform. But you're right. And that says a lot about integrity, especially if you're using it, you're not 10 years old when you don't really understand what plagiarism is or something like that. You're using it to actually graduate. So it's not surprising, though. It doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah. Well, it would be nice if the mainstream media picked this up, because I'll tell you one thing about the Kitchener-Carney event. The noticeable demographic, Drea, it wasn't the newlywed, it was the nearly dead. It was very, very old people who I assume are getting their news from the state-sanctioned broadcaster, the CBC, and have no appetite to get into a debate on the issues. And so when you're the Conservative Party, you're going up against two parties, the Liberal Party and the media party. And,
absolutely.
Yeah, so that's shameful.
Well, not to mention they're fighting for their existence in some ways, because Poilievre, previously was getting the most cheers for saying he's going to defund the CBC. So now it's a whole new level of propaganda.
Oh, hi, it's Ezra Levant here in Toronto with an important message, because we need your help. Independent journalism in Canada is under attack. Government censors, big tech deplatformers, and the dying legacy media are all working together to maintain exclusive control on the information you receive. They don't want you to hear other voices like ours, and they really don't want you to be informed and to think for yourself. That's why the work we do here at Rebel News is so important. Our on-the-ground reporting, independent news shows, and special content you won't find anywhere else. It's all designed to give you trustworthy information and alternative viewpoints so you can decide for yourself. We don't get government money, and we are not owned by some big global conglomerate. We're funded by people just like you, so please support independent journalism and help us continue our work by subscribing and becoming a Rebel News Plus member today, right here on the page. Go to rebelnewsplus.com.